Mohit, you are very clear that for retail investors, index funds are a better option. What is the scenario or what is the base case for an ETF, if at all? And which in these two categories do you like specifically, index funds and ETFs? If someone were looking, to start off in both categories, what would you suggest?
Okay. Look, so, Tamanna, so the case for ETFs is also fairly strong for very extremely savvy ultra HNI investors. Look, an ETF gives you a benefit that when you are transacting on an exchange, the costs incurred in that transaction are borne only by the person who is executing the transaction. Unlike in fund, what happens is if a fund buys and sells any stock, the cost of that transaction is borne by the entire set of investors who are invested via that fund. So ETF solely appropriates the cost to the person who executes the transaction, which gives ETF an inherent advantage that the taxes and the costs are not borne by the entire set of investors who are sitting patiently and just holding the fund for long term. Second is that intraday case for traders who would want to trade on indices. Basically, I think ETF gives a great opportunity to enter at a particular price point and exit at a particular price point. But as my colleague Amol rightly said, that it's not very easy to time the markets. And for people who are investing for long term, perhaps that's not the right way of doing it. Yet I understand that there might be a trading class who wants to make good of the intraday price movements. And that's where the thing comes into play. And the third and the last category of investors who might want to consider ETF is the investors who are extremely cost conscious. ETFs will definitely give you that 2, 3, 5 bips added advantage on the cost. Even if you account for the transaction cost, the broking cost, the STTs and other things which are involved in an ETF trade, they will give you slight bit of advantage over the index funds. But I think that is negated by the convenience part and other parts which an index fund provides. For me, the call is very clear. I would always prefer an index fund, but for an extremely savvy investor who wants to make good of the intraday prices, I think an ETF might be a preferred choice.